got a little bit more of an update when it comes to the Disney Plus Mandalorian stuff that's going on. I wanted to start with this because this is kind of crazy. Hasbro is actually going around and canceling orders for their Cara Dune Black Series figures and their vintage figures. And I gotta say, that's kind of crazy. Like, they're turning down money. Here's the other thing. From what I understand, prices for these toys are skyrocketing now. Check this out. So here's the Black Series figure. This is a very nice figure. Very nice figure. Good luck getting one now for a decent price. And I don't know what the vintage one looks like. Oh, it's this right here. So here's the vintage one. Looks pretty good. Not as good as the Black Series figure. This is the best looking one they've made so far. And this one is canceled as well, but this one is still coming. So I don't understand why the other ones are getting canceled, but they're still putting this out. It doesn't quite make any sense. I bet you they end up canceling this figure. That's my guess. There's been no word on it, but they haven't released it yet. So there's been no production of the figure. So I'm thinking they're going to cancel it. So this figure and this figure, which was already sold out because people like the character and they like Gina Carano, the prices are skyrocketing right now. I'm pretty sure they're going to keep going up, especially now that these are completely done. We have email right here. Hasbro says, bye-bye, Carano. Thank you for pre-ordering from Big Bad Toy Store. We have been informed by Hasbro that they have canceled production of Star Wars The Black Series 6-inch Cara Dune The Mandalorian, and we will not be fulfilling the order. Unfortunately, this means we must cancel our pre-orders for this item. We apologize for the inconvenience and greatly appreciate your understanding. So I do believe that they're going to cancel this figure. If this vintage figure was planned and it's getting canceled, why would this one still come out? This is still all Hasbro. So I think this one's going to get canceled. This one, I guess, is done. So this figure is going to go up. It's going to skyrocket in price. This is going to be a true collector's item. So that's kind of the update on the toy situation. The media, of course, is still acting like a bunch of asses. Cara Dune was the female powerhouse Star Wars desperately needed, but Gina Carano was not. Okay, because she doesn't share your ideology, she's not needed, basically. We want a strong woman, but only if she has the same line of thinking that we do. We don't want her to be an independent thinking woman of whatever, she wants to have for her values. No, she needs to have our values. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen to that. Think about that. Here's the other big thing that's going around, and I really wonder if this is true. Pedro Pascal may exit The Mandalorian following Gina Carano. Now, let's be clear. He's not doing this because he wants to have solidarity with Gina Carano. He's doing it for his own reasons because maybe there really is something to that rumor that he was furious about being in the helmet so much. Now things start to make a little bit more sense. This got lost in the news cycle, but if you didn't know, this actually dropped the same day that Gina Carano got fired. Pedro Pascal to star as Joel in The Last of Us HBO series based on video game. I actually think that he could make a pretty good Joel, at least in resemblance. He kind of resembles Joel a little bit. He's much better than that girl that they have for Ellie. It's a terrible, terrible choice. Basically, if you don't know what was going on, the big rumor was that Pedro Pascal was very upset that he had to wear that helmet all the time. He didn't like having his face covered. So basically, the big rumor was that he was upset and wanted to leave, and they convinced him to stay. And basically, all the time, like majority of the time, he's just doing dubbing, and he's not really in the suit anymore. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. That's the rumor. But if you look at it like this, things start to make a little bit more sense. So he bounces to go to Last of Us, where he's going to be front and center, right? He's going to be the main character. He's going to have his face shown the whole time. You're going to see his face. You're going to see him acting. You're going to see the emotion. Whereas over at Star Wars, you didn't see anything. I mean, even his voice was monotone most of the time. So it'll be interesting. So 2 things can happen here. One, he could still do The Mandalorian and dub it, right? 2, he's going to leave The Mandalorian. Those will be the 2 things. However, if you remember at the end of Mandalorian Season 2, he took his helmet off in front of everybody. It seems like he was kind of stepping away from that line of thinking where he can never show his face. He took his helmet off 2 times during that series on Season 2. He only took it off 1 in Season 1 in front of the robot. That was it, the IG-88 robot. So there's 2 lines of thinking here. One, he's going to bounce on the show, right? Which, I mean, would be, I guess you could just end the show there, but you know they want to do the Battle for Mandalore. Would that even be popular without Baby Yoda is the question. So I'm wondering, is Pedro Pascal going to leave The Mandalorian? If he leaves The Mandalorian, could the show carry on? Possibly. I'm really just wondering, you know, will it still have the same star power? You've already lost Cara Dune. Now you're losing Pedro Pascal. We'll see. But this is bad. This is bad for Disney, which I welcome. Don't forget to consider hashtag cancel Disney Plus. You can always sail the high seas if you need to watch this show. So, interesting stuff going on. I do wonder if this is true or not. This could be nothing, because if he just dubs his voice, they could still keep it going on with a body double in the Mandalorian armor. But it does seem to me that a lot of the story going forward was being set up so he could take his helmet off a lot. So if he's going to remove his helmet all the time, you know, now all of a sudden it's a different face. You lose some of that. You lose some of that magic from him removing his helmet. So I don't know. Either way, a big middle finger to Disney. I really like this show. Now I could care less if it fails. They've made a martyr out of Gina, which I don't think they thought was going to happen. They've lost tons of money from subscriptions. Probably not enough to set them back too much, but it was enough that they were reportedly shocked. So I think that that's great. But Disney is a terrible company. Kathleen Kennedy is a terrible leader. And I don't care what the future plans are for this franchise. She's going to run it into the ground. And the fact that there's so much hypocrisy behind tweets that like Pedro's made compared to Gina's, and they fire her, proves that everything is political with this stuff. And that right there is just setting this entire franchise up for failure. Anyway, what are your guys' thoughts on all of this? I'd like to hear from you. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.